with B Money, Branden Sims. This is another one we needed to roll in with that whole
wait.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've got UTV World Champion of the World because he's won here before.
What song, though, do we pick for him?
I don't know. I feel like he's an Eye of the Tiger kind of guy.
Okay, I got that. Hold on, we're starting some new things.
Branden's just like, what the hell is going on? No, we're actually live right now. We're just...
You ready, guys?
That was quick.
This is for you.
He's on point.
I'm on point, okay? Not only am I host, I produce. Ready? Dun, 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 dun. If you could see me, I'm actually like
she's punching. We've got the video camera rolling. The video camera's going to be like, what the hell?
Okay,
all
we're
right.
done. We're done.
Enough of that. So that was the best intro you've got today.
Yeah, no, for sure.
You're welcome. T-Stone approved.
T-Stone approved. So anyways, yeah, you do know how to win here at this race.
I do have a pretty good record, and definitely have a way of figuring out how to get to the finish first.
So that being said, I know you said this one's going to be a little bit tougher. Start a little bit deeper in the field.
Yeah. Usually I've had a pretty good start position. You know, the mint leads into your your starting point or starting position for your next race, and this one I had a tough mint, so I had to get in the draw.
What happened? Because I go around the quarry. And I didn't have a peachy keen draw at the mint either. And here's Sims parked. I'm like, that's something you never see. And I'm like, whoa, like my boy, he's parked. And then the next lap I go, no, Brandon's still parked.
Yeah, that's very abnormal for my program.
No.
Not very often am I sidelined. Fortunately, I was able to get the car back together enough to get my lap done and get a finish, for some points. But, man, we struggled right there. I had a part fail that I've never had fail before. It was a newer part, too. So I don't know if it was just a fluke thing or what, because where I broke, actually, it wasn't even an extreme anything. I already went through all the extreme stuff, and I don't know if maybe it fractured at that point. But, I was just going around the corner, and it decided to break, and then it took us forever to get the parts out there, and it turned into a whole fiasco. Yeah, I watched multiple people go by me twice, and when it's a 120 or 115-mile lap, that's not good when you watch them go by twice.
Like, I don't know. It's one of those, because we were talking with Shelby, and I feel like it's funny because we all race against each other, but it's like I feel like Team Razor, it's like we're a close-knit group of guys. Like, just even in we were talking about the group chat, like the shenanigans that was going on in there, but it's like we all want to beat each other, but if we're not going to win, we root for our teammates, and it's like,
right.
You, me, Carver, RJ, there's Shelby, Mitchie. I mean, the list goes on of Team Razor, but it's like, it's like, I don't know, my heart was breaking every time I go by and see you parked, it's like crap.
Yeah, as bad as you want to, beat everybody, it still hurts to see them on the side, It's more fun to beat them, when everybody's running good and hard.
Yeah. So that being said, I mean, UTV World's obviously car back on point for this one. You know how to win. I mean, you were just telling me you went on the practice lap. You said it's pretty haggard out there.
Yeah, I know a lot of the times everybody complains about them going out and blading this course, and making it a freeway. But I can promise you it's not that way this time. I don't know if other race organizations have come out here with their, different vehicles and ran them on here. I think Best in Desert's been doing it, Snore. And since then, I'm pretty sure they haven't bladed at all because it's pretty brutal out there. There's going to be a lot of carnage. There's going to be a lot of broken parts. Keeping the car together is going to be super important. It was pretty bad. There was lots of spots where I was like, wow, this is way worse than I've ever seen it before. So, everybody always talks about the Fox Proving Grounds being the worst part of the course. And I can promise you that's not the worst part anymore. There's a lot of squared-off whoops on the backside where the washes are at. So everybody be on point or else there's going to be some carnage.
Yeah, which is crazy. I'm never one of those guys that complains about bladed course because, we go on the practice lap and it's been bladed, but by the time we go and do 10 laps, I mean, it's like hell on earth, and I'm like, we're starting with hell on earth. I don't know how it's going to be by 10 laps of us.
Right, and like I was saying earlier, there's multiple classes going before, the turbo class goes tomorrow, so it's going to be, every class that goes through, it's going to be worse and worse and worse. The chatter bumps are going to go from, chatter bumps to chatter whoops, and it's going to, the track will always change here, with that many cars on that doing, only 17-mile loops, that awfully changes the course pretty quick.
Yeah. So I know what are your plans for this year? Because you run full Best in the Desert. You did KOH. I don't know, you doing any of the score races? I know you like to go down to Baja and do some of those, right?
Yeah, so basically I do all the Best in Desert, do King of the Hammers, which is a big one for me. That's always been a big part of my program. I think I've been doing it for like 6 years now. Usually I try to at least get in on the Baja 500. And the 1,000, I've done it a couple times on my program. I've also teamed up with some other teams and done well with them there as well. So I'm going to kind of play it by ear. I plan on building a new car here, which is going to be extremely crazy because I've been driving the same car for like 4 years now. So I'm going to have to do like a farewell tour with that thing. But So yeah, it's all going to depend on how that's going. I know I'm going to try to be getting it ready for Vegas to Reno. So,
Is it 4-seat?
You know, you guys are going to have to wait and see.
Ah.
It's going to be a surprise. So
I know you got like your own fan following because you're the 2-seat guy.
Yeah, I do. When I do well, you know, I've got the people out there always cheering on. Man, you're the only one with a 2-seater alive out there still, you know, that's doing well. So it's pretty cool to be able to do that in a 2-seater compared to all these 4-seaters out there. You know, I'd probably get in a 4-seater and be like, man, it's like Cadillac. You know, not really seeing what I've been missing out on, but. Yeah, everybody's just going to have to see what I end up coming up with. So, yeah, it just depends on how that goes. I might try to get it on the Baja 500. Just depends on where my build is at that point. You know, I want to make sure I debut a car that's going to be competitive and all the fun stuff with it. So maybe I'll be working out bugs at that point. We're just going to play it by ear.
Yeah. Well, I know you've even you've shown up. You've taken, like, just old Terracross cars and stuff and showed up at works races before and things like that and just gone out there. I mean, you just like to drive razors, right?
I do, yeah. Sometimes I'll be sitting at home and I'm like, man, there's a race within 200 miles from here, and I think I should probably get in on that because I'm bored, and that sounds like fun, you know. And those are no-pressure races for me,
yeah.
You know, the Best in the Desert score, stuff like that, where I have a lot, you know, it costs a lot, you know. Those ones, you know, that there's pressure, you know, there's just no way around it. You know, when I go to like a random works race or something, yeah, I go out there for fun, you know, and it is what it is. If I break, if I win, you know, it's just for fun.
Yeah. Well, you want to talk about fun. So my brother and my family, we've got houses in Prescott. Sims lives in Prescott. They got the biggest snow they've had in probably a couple of decades up there, right? And I was so pissed off I didn't get a text message, get your ass up the hill. Like, he's posting these pictures, and he got razors out in literally like a couple of feet of snow. Like, it's just like the raddest pictures. I'm like, you guys had to have a ton of fun that night when you guys were out there.
Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of the snow because it's cold, but, you know, that was honestly one of the single most fun 2 days I've had. You know, just the amount of, I mean, we go out and we call it No Rules Day, but, you know, because there's just so many, nobody can really get around, you know, where we live, it's just they're not used to that much snow. You know, I think on the ground in town we had like 22, 24 inches in certain spots.
Wow.
And then up in the mountains, which are just, I mean, a drive away for us. And the nice thing about Arizona is, I mean, all of our units are street legal. So we drive from our house, and then the mountain ranges that are right by our house are, you know, 15, 20 minutes away, and we're at 7,500 feet of elevation. So, I mean, up there was 3 feet of snow, 35 inches, 36 inches. And we just went out, and we had news crews following us, and they were, you know, getting interviews with us. They were living it up, and it was honestly one of the most fun times I've had in my razor, you know, just because it was something different. You know, the desert's my home, but when the snow comes out, we were definitely looking for a reason to go play in it. And we were out, I think, one of the nights till like 2 a.m. just having fun, you know, no issues and just drifting every corner, and it was just awesome.
Yeah, it was like the social media posts were coming like in the middle of the night and stuff like that. I'm like, these guys had so damn much fun out there.
Yeah, it was amazing, literally. I enjoyed it thoroughly, enjoyed every minute of it. I wore all my snow gear that I wear snowboarding. I had my snowboard boots on. It's really extremely hard to drive with those, in case you're wondering. But, yeah, we just dressed up like we were going snowboarding, and went out and had a blast.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you, because you always say with Best in the Desert, Score, certain things like that, those are high-pressure races for you. So what's been one race out of your entire career where you're just like, hey, I want to go, it's 200 miles away, but then ended up having some of the best times? Like, what's one of those memorable one-off races?
So I would say there was, like Jim was saying, there was a works race in Canyon, which is North Phoenix. And I literally was sitting around my house with some buddies, and we were like, man, what should we do today? And I'm like, well, there's a race down, you know, and it was only 100 miles away, if that. And I was like, let's go check it out. I mean, I've never raced a works race, really, and let's go see how we do with that. You know, I had a car that was not set up for works. It was just one of my old King of the Hammers Terracross cars. It's kind of been a little bit of everything car. Went down there, and I think we hit the podium. I got like a second place on my first shot at a works race, and that's an intense style race. I mean, I think it's 45 minutes or so of just pure pinned, and there's big jumps, and which is all fun and stuff. But, yeah, I just ended the day, and I was like, man, I had a good time, you know. It was just laughing the whole time. And there's one other race that I do, that the short course race here, that I'm literally laughing while I'm driving. You know, I'm just watching the stuff, and people out of control, and to laugh while you're racing is just, it's weird, you know. And I'm constantly smiling during those races because there's no pressure, and, you know, I'm not really worried about what happens.
Yeah, and you guys have, I don't know if it's happening because I want to bring, I've got an old 2-seat Razor I want to bring up, but they're in Prescott Valley. You guys they have like a Prescott Valley Grand Prix right in downtown PV, and I'm like, literally, like, I'm like, geez, that's like 5 minutes from my parents' house up there. I'm like, I so want to bring my old two-seater up there and just go have fun.
I've raced that one a few times, and that one, that one is literally a half a mile from my house. I literally a half mile from the field that they have it in, and it's literally right in the middle of the town. I mean, it's right by the event center. You got Walmart, you've got the main road that goes through our town, and then you've got this probably, I would say, 10-acre field that they build a little track in. And it's the biggest turnout for that race organization, and it's right in the middle of town. They use the event center parking lot for pits, and that was also a really fun race because, I mean, I know everybody there. My town's not extremely big. It's like 45,000, 50,000 or something like that. So I know quite a bit of people there. They all come out, and it was a great weekend too. So like Jim was saying, I mean, that's a very fun race.
Is that one back on this year?
I think so.
What are the dates generally?
I think they do it on Memorial Day weekend is the problem. So a lot of people are either planning to go that for their Memorial Day weekend, or they've already got other plans set for Memorial Day weekend. So
maybe I'll have to make that into my plans.
Yeah,
just
for
bring
sure.
The old two-seater out there.
Yeah,
'cause they have a little bit. I think they've got a kind of a run what you brung class, right?
Yeah,
With just
for
some
sure.
Safety upgrades.
Yeah, it's pretty limited.
Yeah.
So I mean, you just for your own safety stuff, maybe
Yeah, it's a two-seat turbo that doesn't have. I mean, it's got harnesses and a cage.
Yeah,
and
you're
stuff
probably
like
good then.
that and doors, but yeah. Like nothing crazy.
But yeah, that's a super fun race. Just they got a couple little jumps, and it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it'd be fun to go and just screw around. What do you think, T-Stone?
I'm just. Well, maybe I should put that back after I drink.
Failing here?
I'm not. I came in with a strong intro song. That's what we need to start doing for everybody. Is have, hey, what song do you want to be intro to?
Gonna put that on your business card, T-Stone, in charge of music.
In charge of music. No, I that's what I just wanted to know. Like you said, when you have such high pressure races, intensity, you got sponsors looking at you, you got this, you got that. It's just what brings you back to happiness. And that, like what you're talking about, I come from Detroit, so I'm so used to that snow.
Right.
Honestly, I know that there's the side-by-sides that the Greaves started putting together where they're racing in the snow and ice racing now. And I think, because Matt was talking about having the worlds be in different areas, the Midwest, the South, the East Coast, I think it'd be kind of cool to do a Worlds in snow because that's going to bring out some great drivers. That's going to show you who can drive on all types of terrain. I mean, a lake pretty much. And
right.
I think that's something that I would be interested in seeing is more snow racing for the UTVs.
I did something. So back when we were doing Terracross, Joe had something at Crested Butte, Colorado. It was called the Winter Terracross. And I went up there and did it. And he had a two-seat RZR there sitting there for me, and it had studded tires. And it was on the side of at the ski resort. We went up like one of the ski runs and down and had some big like rolling jumps and stuff like that. It was absolutely the most fun I've ever had in a RZR. I was so pissed. There's like 10 of us. I got the whole shot. I led this thing. The corner before the finish, some guy came in, hit me, put me on my side, and he won. And I literally led like 98% of that race. I was so pissed.
That'll teach you to be the leader.
Right?
That
Well, it was Jeremy from Terracross who was racing in it. And he gets up. He's like, "Oh, dude, I set that up for 10 laps." And I'm like, "Ass."
And he told you he set it up.
Oh, he did. He's like, "I knew I was going to punt you." I'm like, "Well, you're half owner of Terracross. How do I even take this to the,
Do I come to you to complain about you?
So it was a ton of fun, though. But, yeah, dude, that would be fun. So, I don't know. We got derailed on this quite a bit. But, yeah, so you're racing short course race this weekend too, though, right?
I've got it. It's all up in the air right now. They keep switching it back and forth on me. I had a car that I was setting up just for that race when it was going to be 70-something miles. And then they switched it yesterday or the day before back to a 50-something mile race. I got a terrible draw for it. I don't know. I'm all up in the air. I'm focused on the desert race at the moment. So, I mean, if everything comes together, I'll definitely go race the short course race. But the way it's set up, I mean, it's going to be tough to – I know there's a lot of fast people on the first row is the biggest issue. I don't know. I'm just playing it by ear on this one. I'm going to – it is. It depends on how I was actually – my plan was, depending on how my desert car did for the desert race, I was going to re-enter that in the short course race because it was going to be 70-mile long race, which everybody would have to stop for fuel. Well, my desert car is a small enough two-seater, and it's got enough fuel at 70 miles I can do on one tank. So I was trying to strategize, and I was actually going to race that car and not pit for fuel, which I've done before in that short course race. And had I not blown a belt, I would have won that race. But I was going to race the desert car. So now that they're back to 50-mile race, I can't see any advantage racing the desert car because nobody's going to have to stop for fuel now. I don't know. It just keeps switching back and forth, and I know it's for safety and stuff that I was talking to Donald this morning about it. So I know that they didn't want to have gas spills and everything in the pits on the cars that aren't designed for fueling quickly. So I don't know. I'm playing it by ear.
All right. Well, we'll have to see how it works out for you, buddy. But always fun catching up, Brandon.
Yes, always, for sure.